chosen one, the Messiah. He is the chosen one and the Messiah. Chosen one. He's the light and the way. The wisdom of our days. The healer, the preacher, the truth-teller. Bangatito Bodunge. Listen up a second. Watch out for
Sponsor a child from the Dogon villages today. They are the future healers, leaders and preservers of Kemetic traditions. Just like Prophet Nebnaba, these children of the Earth Center and our network of healers are being educated in local schools in addition to their indigenous cultural practices and traditions. This comprehensive education both positions them to inherit the work of their forefathers and mothers and continues bridging the gap between traditional and modern societies. So go ahead, support, find out more about our campaigns and donate by going to www.theearthcenter.org. Thank you.
Ojai, and welcome to the Wisdom of the Nile show. And my name is Nahibsa Nesibik, alongside
Ujai Kasati Hekama in the house.
Yeah, and we're here representing the Earth Center. Yeah, we first want to kind of acknowledge the divine world, for, creating the existence. And we also want to acknowledge our ancestors, who they're the ones that we go through to get to the divine. They're the ones that actually negotiate and do everything on our behalf. And we also want to acknowledge Master Prophet Nebnaba Lumbusa Morandenibig for getting permission and bringing to us here really in the West, in the diaspora, this profound knowledge that's been kept secret for thousands of years. And for those of us who have got a taste of it, we appreciate the content really, and how it's actually can transform your life, giving you some direction. And Master Naba, he came and he established the first free Earth Center schools in Manu, USA. And from there he went back to Burkina Faso and started another school there. Shortly after that he transitioned, and Naba Irita, he continued to grow the school, where we've now got about 11 schools, about 10, 11 schools, 2 here in the UK, 6 there in the USA, 2 in 2 in Canada. And and growing. Now tonight's show really, we've got like a orientation coming up shortly next week. Well, this week Saturday. So we're just going to be. Last week we interviewed two initiates who hadn't graduated yet, and they were waiting a long time for their graduation, because I mean you can take your exams and things like that, but until you go for the actual graduation process, you're not fully initiated. And so last week, they had their becomings. So this week, we're gonna bring them back along so that they can share with you a little bit of their experience. I know you got like a taste of them last week, but now that they've got their name, just that how it makes them feel now, really, right now that they've fully been initiated. So we're going to bring them, we're not going to go through too much, we're going to bring them on very shortly. So I'm just going to play you another tune here by Gibson, Serious Time, and then we're going to bring them in and take it from there.
Another truth of the truth isn't being told. No. So sometimes I think it's peace and safety. It could be a frost, sudden destruction. See you wake up this morning, you better give thanks. You don't know if you're gonna live to see tomorrow. Life is much more precious than gold. Yeah. And if the truth hasn't been told, so I said, these are some serious times. All I can see around us is just violence and crime. Full time for us to centralize, socialize, and realize. So you ain't out on the corner. I see a type and me say I want on the corner. Do you seem really now want no water? I see a them go see I left the border. Cause I don't know them say them can no they can play. I don't care come in and shots start to spray. Only innocent life get taken away. So I say these are some serious times. All I can see around us is just violence and crime. Full Full time for us to centralize, socialize, and realize. To let the sun shine throughout every day. Let the moon shine through the peaceful nights. This is 7-time rise and 7-time fall. But I don't really believe in the falling things at all. Cause life continues as it goes. If you really want to know the truth, the truth isn't being told. No, 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 no. Just some kind of think it's peace and safety. It could be a price sudden destruction. So you wake up this morning, you better give thanks. You don't know if you're gonna live to see tomorrow. Life is much more precious than gold. Yeah, yeah. And if the truth hasn't been told, so I said, these are some serious times. All I can see around us is just violence and crime. Full time for us to centralize, socialize, and realize. I said serious time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Serious time. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And just use 4G. It don't, you know what? If it's going to be a problem, just do it.
Can you hear me? Hello, speak, to say something. Ujai? Ujai?
It's not even on.
Ujai? Ujai? Can you hear us? Ujai? Hello? Ujai? So we're just having some technical, just... Ujai? I said these are some serious times. All I can see around us is just violence and crime. Full time for us to centralize, socialize, and realize. So let the sun shine throughout every day. Let the moon shine through the peaceful nights. This is 7-time rise and 7-time fall. But I don't really... Ujai?
Ujai.
Alright, yeah, good. Yeah, sorry about that. We're just trying to find the right lead that's gonna make the connection. What can we say? Ujai, and welcome to the Wisdom of the Nile show. And we're speaking to, could you introduce yourself? I don't want to kind of do any injustice to your names.
Yep, I am Satabti, Iridjed.
Satabti.
Ujai.
And who is this other person on the line?
It's Sahuziry speaking from the Iridjed.
Sorry, could you repeat that name again?
Jai.
Ujayi, can you hear? Ujayi? Call is ended. Yeah.
Apologies, listener. We've just had an interruption in the call. We're going to reconnect them again. One moment, please.
Ujayi, can you hear us? Could you say something, please?
Ujayi.
Right. Yeah, that's good. You're coming through now. Yeah.
You can hear us fine?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, good.
Ushayi Kemiu. Welcome.
Ujayi, actually.
Ujayi, yesterday.
Ushayi, welcome to the Wisdom of the Nile show. And hopefully the majority of the listeners heard your testimonies last week, leading up to initiation, leading up to joining the Earth Center and going through initiation, and leading up to your graduation. And then Saturday is just gone. You both had a beautiful graduation and naming ceremony. So if we could just start again, because there was interruption on the line. Could you both introduce yourselves?
Okay, my name is Satabti, Iridjed.
And it's Sahuziry speaking of the Iridjed Gen.
Okay, so Satabti, would you like to give everyone the meaning of your name, please?
Yes, so in short, the meaning is one who belongs to the morally pure. No, the daughter of the morally pure ones.
Okay. Okay, well, and Sahuziry?
Yes, so mine in short is Noble Man of Wasseker.
Wow, and your generation name is Iridjed, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Okay, and please can you explain what that means?
So it's the one who belongs to the Jed, keeper of the principles of the Jed.
Wow, okay, okay. So, Satabti, could you please give us a testimony of your graduation day?
Yes. It was amazing. It was an amazing experience. I don't even think I've really found the words to explain, the words to really put that experience into context. But what I can say is it means a lot to know who you are on this earth.
Yeah.
And even as you go through life, you do learn about particular characteristics about yourself, through yourself and from others. But it really cements your purpose when you really know who you are through your name. And it's really helping me at this point to re-galvanize my focus on the journey ahead and fitting into that name even more.
Yeah, because I know it's early days. You've just received your name a week ago, and as you said, it's something that you have to grow into and walk in the destiny that your name carries.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm well aware of that, and yes, the journey is just beginning. The journey is just beginning.
Yes. And that is how it feels. It feels like the journey literally has just begun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And how was your family? Because I know some of your family were there. So
Yes.
how was that experience for them?
I haven't actually spoken to my dad properly since the ceremony, so I still need to catch up with him.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that who I had there was my brothers and their sons,
Mm-hmm.
and I really wanted my brother's sons to be there. One, because they carry our bloodline, and I really wanted this image to be imprinted in their young minds,
Mm-hmm.
so that when they grow, it will be something that they can refer back to as a solid, something tangible that they saw and experienced, knowing that the times that they're going to be functioning in. So I'm happy that has been achieved. But for the younger ones, they were very engaged, they were very involved, they were intrigued by the drums. So I know that they enjoyed the experience.
Mm-hmm.
With my mum, before actually receiving my name, I was like, I had this mentality that, you know, if people don't really call me by my new name, I'm not going to make a big deal of it, because everybody has to grow and get used to it. And on the day of the ceremony, when we was on our way, I remember my mum saying to me, you know, soon I'm not going to be calling you by the name that I named you. And that was really touching, because I said, if my own mother can make that adjustment before it's even come, then who is anybody else not to respect that part of my journey? And when I did receive my name, my mum came up to me on the side and said, I love your name. So that just meant everything to me in that moment.
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. And just for the listeners who may not know, your name was derived from the earth through Umtam Earth energy readings, which is what the Dogon specialize in. So when somebody actually passes their exam prior to their graduation ceremony, at least a minimum of 3 priests in the bush in Merita, which is traditional Africa, does divinations and questions the earth all separately. And once they all concur with the same name in relation to the individual, then that is the name that is bestowed upon you, because that is the name that the earth has for you. So, is there anything else you'd like to share, Satabti?
Yeah, I just think that what I'd like to share is that for me, how I'm receiving that, the significance of you going through a process where a priest or priests are going to ask the earth something of you. I think that carries a lot of responsibility, and I'm acknowledging that responsibility, the responsibility that I have to actually do my best to live by my name, because asking the earth of something is not, I don't know, it's not lightweight. It's not flimsy, and it's not something to be taken for granted. So that's what I've really taken away from that. That's what really came home to me during the ceremony. And I'm looking forward to doing my best to honor the earth in that way through my name.
Yeah, I'm sure you will do, Satabti. You've been a very studious student and engrossed in the knowledge, and you've grasped it and you've got this far. So all I can say is Neta Dua to you on the rest of your journey.
Dua.
And Sahuziry, what would you like to say?
I'd just like to say, in terms of how I found the whole graduation process, it was a range of emotions all wrapped up in one day. I mean, similar to Satabti, where my mum's in America, but I had a conversation with her in the morning, and while prepping, just going over a couple of things with her, and I was saying to her, like, well, how do you feel about me having a new name later today? And I've noticed that her take on it has gradually changed. So she almost made a joke of it, just saying, like, well, you're a grown man, you could be called whatever you want to be called. I mean, I'll still will call you by the name I gave you, but I accept the name that you're going to receive. So that was a good insight in terms of her making those adjustments. And on the day itself, it just felt different, like no other day, in terms of when I arrived, the vibe was just right. We had Hadley Hester, who was very focused in terms of just directing me, like, this is where you should be going. And when I'm talking about the vibe, it's just that there was a moment where myself and Leanne were myself and Satabti, I was still adjusting, were asked to go into another room, and it was interesting from the point of view that it was so quiet, so peaceful, so serene in there, yet we were both focused on what was about to happen. We were about to get our names, we were about to do the ablution process, and so there were, although it was calm, there was still a bit of nerves on the day, so we kind of like looked at each other, almost prepped each other for what was coming up. I thought Hadley Shadir did a good job of just anytime those nerves would start to work up a bit, and she'll come into the room and it just bring that calm energy back into the room. So it was just an extraordinary day. And then Meg came in. She looked regal, and it was just, you could just tell that this is a special occasion. And when Hadley started went out, I was still adjusting. When she went out, although she was doing her ablutions, it was interesting, but I was going through that process with her. So that's what I took away from it. And then, of course, it was incredible to just the journey that we'd taken, but from the perspectives of the Hattanis that were speaking for us. And yeah, it was just it was a day of a variety of emotions. And now that I've received the name Sahuziry, and I've gone over what was entailed and with regards to what came out of the reading, what some of those responsibilities are. In some respects, although we did our final test in order to graduate out of Per Ankh, I feel like that final day was a test within itself, because now the journey's starting. Now you're taking on board what the responsibilities of that name is, what those responsibilities are, should I say. And as I mentioned, I've read through some of the material that came out of that reading, and one of the things that really touched me was in terms of the responsibilities, that I must work hard to be a reason for why my surroundings or people in my environment are stable and evolving. And so I've noticed that my train of thought has started to slowly shift in that direction, and just living up to that name. So I've seen, even though it's been a few days, I've seen the changes in myself and my environment. And just one final point. One of my family members did actually come to the event. I had some apologies that came through on the day, but I still felt their energy when they were watching live. So it was a unique experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Never to be repeated, So your rebirth, wasn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, and may I just say that you are the 64th generation of the initiates of the Makaru. Yeah, so...
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's special.
Yeah, I was wondering where the 64 came from.
Yeah.
The paper.
Mm-hmm. So, is there any parting words you'd like to give to the listeners, please?
Yeah, I would say for anybody that is really serious about wanting to know who they are on this earth and what their purpose is, and having a support network to assist you through that journey, I think orientation would be the best place for you to be. And if you have already been exposed to the Earth Center, to be mindful that there are no accidents in life, and that follow your heart, follow the voice of your ancestors that speak to you, and move forward, grow your qualities.
Duahu sense, Duahu. Satabti Iridjed.
Duahu.
And Sahuziry, any parting words, please?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I would like to echo those words in the sense that prior to going through the all Per Ankh experience, I had questions. Questions of the outside world, questions of myself, where my destiny lies. And since the graduation day itself, a number of those questions been asked in terms of one of the questions that we asked on that day is, who are you? And the answer you give is, I'm a pure soul, but I do not know. And I feel like, having gone through that graduation process, having left that having left that day, I had a much greater insight into who I was. That spirit has come back. What my mission is going forward, and also where I am as a being today. And it was almost like I'm using an analogy that Hetney Bigsa and Hetney Tepio used in a recent lecture that they put out on the code of human behavior. But it's almost like you're at a crossroad, and you could go one way or another. But now that you actually know what your goal is in this life, what your mission is, it guides you. Another Hattoni was saying to me just a few days ago, the readings that you got, it's like it is a map. Like it's literally like a guide for you to walk by. And another Hattoni was actually highlighting that you grow into your name, and you cannot underestimate how valuable it is to have a name with a meaning, with a purpose, that you know that you're actually, you know what, you're going to have to take on what this name means, and it's going to dictate your actions. It's going to have an influence on your actions, and yeah, that's what I would highlight to anybody that may have those questions, that may want to experience Bert Ankh. You get a lot more out of it than just. Some people may feel like it's just a spiritual course that they go on. No, it's something you live, and yeah, it's been a few days, but it's having a profound effect on me.
Yeah, but you know that there's a big importance in the name, though. It's not just the name. It carries a lot more to it than what it is. We know that the name has a meaning, but you know there's a bigger part to it as well. And I know Satabti said that she didn't mind if people didn't call her by her name, but I think what we got to appreciate is that name connects you back to the earth, and every time you say it, it resonates back and connects you back, as opposed to say someone using your European name, and that's going to be the difference. That when you say it, it's carrying a power to it. So for me personally, that's why I even changed my name, changed all my deeds, because you know you went through a process to get it, to reconnect you back to reconnect back to who you are. So you know, me personally, I just feel really right that it's important, really right that now you get that, you use that energy when people say it, it resonates with you and back to connect you back as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, yeah, you definitely grow into the name, and then it dictates how you react in situations. I found myself in compromising situations just these past few days, but taking on board that the meaning of your name is you are a noble man of Wasseker. How would a noble man of Wasseker deal with that situation? And it's interesting how the environment around me has accepted that change.
Well,
yeah. So you feel complete now, really, having. I mean, you know, there was a long gap between your exam and the actual graduation, and you know that until you got your name, you know that you wasn't fully initiated. So, was you praying for that day to come?
I wasn't actually. I don't know. I expressed the most patience I ever have in my life during that time. I just knew that it was going to be something great, so I just humbled myself to the circumstances.
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. As them say, nothing are done before the time.
Yeah.
You know, so it's that.
And I think it's for us, for me personally, I think that gap worked well. Because we had a lot of time to really still just absorb the knowledge that we had received, and to fit into that knowledge a bit more without, I'm not really sure how to explain it, but I think it was fitting for me personally, that gap between the examination and the actual graduation. I think it helped to keep me focused in a way. And it's so that it is all about the name, but it's not just about the name at the same time. It is about living the knowledge. It's not just you get your name and go. It's what have you really come into this for?
Yeah.
So I think that gap helped me to really reflect on that part of it.
But the name kind of gives you that kind of direction towards.
Absolutely, yeah, 100%.
Definitely.
You know, what? Because we're all individuals and we all come here to serve different destinies, different purpose. So your reading, it kind of gives you that guidance as to what path you person should take, isn't it?
And I think where with the whole per unk, there's always an emphasis on your generation, and we've always been told, moving on from per unk, it is more about you as an individual and your journey, and be it receiving your name and going through that graduation ceremony, really it makes that very distinctive. So yeah, it does definitely bring it home, because now it's your generation is still very important, and we have that connection through our name, Iridjed. We have that, we will always have that connection, but it also emphasizes now this is who you are and what you need to do. And now how are you gonna go about fulfilling your destiny?
Yeah.
Definitely echo that. As in, even just the day after I got my my name, I was on the phone speaking to my mum Merita, and I was just basically asking her questions, because I could see that you get insight into what the bloodline readings show, as well as the destiny line, and there's some expectations from the destiny line. So I was trying to get an insight into, okay, well, what are those expectations, and how do I go about fulfilling them? And she was just basically saying to me, you're going to have to go over that material in terms of the reading over and over and over, and then those answers are going to come. So you do, as Satabti was saying, you do have that connection with your generation, but now that you've actually got your name as well, you start to also appreciate the individual journey aspect of things, and then you're starting to think ahead, like, okay, so what do I need to put in place? What situations do I need to take myself out of, put myself in? But you do start to plan on how you're going to fulfill your responsibilities.
Okay. Well, duo, and congratulations yet again. And also at this moment in time as well, congratulate the two initiates from San Diego, Cardi and Giza Unk, because they graduated the day after yourself in San Diego. And forgive me, I don't know their generation name, so the next guest will fill us in on that. So I'm going to say Iriru. And on this ancestral holy day, may your ancestors continue to guide and protect yourselves and put good things in your path.
Okay,
So-
likewise, I echo the same
Likewise.
sentiment. And we say Iriru, and good luck on your journey.
Duawo.
Dual for having us on, and Dual for always being good examples to follow.
Dua say.
Yes, Duawo.
Nene,
Nete dua.
let's do. Okay.
Iriru.
Iriru.
Iriri.
And on that note, we're gonna be having another guest coming in. Coming online.
Gonna read this first.
Yeah. And he's gonna go a little bit more into initiation, and the importance of initiation. And as you can hear, like this previous guest here, initiates, the journey, the dedication and the elation of making it through that journey, because the generation started off from many and it dwindled down to 2. So it's a hard journey, but as you can see how fulfilling it is, and the direction that it actually puts back into your life, especially like in times like these where there's just a lot of chaos and confusion out there. So we're going to play you this tune and then we'll move along.
No, before that, I'm just going to say that this Saturday is orientation day in London, and that's the day when the doors of initiation will be opening for people who are desirous to embark upon this initiatic journey with the Earth Center, which is a journey into self. So there's going to be a few orientations in this month of March. The London School, theirs is on Saturday, the 6th of March, at 4 p.m. GMT. So for more information, you can find us on Facebook, the Earth Center UK, and on Instagram, the Earth Center UK. And also the Coventry School is having their orientation. I think it's the 20th of March. So there again, as I said, you find us on Facebook. That's the Earth Center Coventry. The email address for anyone that's not on social media is enquiries-uk@theearthcenter.com. So if you would like to email to find out, get more information, that can be sent to you. The telephone number is 0208 558 3678. And I'm going to read the title of today. I'm going to do this one. The title of today's show is taken from the Philosophy Podium, which is written by Nebnaba Lamusa Morandenebig, the founder of the Earth Center. And this is a chapter entitled The New Human Question, the What is Me of the World. The question of an individual's identity is new to the world, even though it appears to be fundamental. That's right. This question is not as old as we would like to think. It fell on our heads like other fruits of the new realities that our new societies are dropping on us. Individuals of 3, 4, or even 10,000 years ago didn't have to ask themselves this type of question, because they were living in a world where everything had a philosophical and metaphysical meaning. The cosmogony of Thebes answered all human questions in a very satisfying way, from material perspectives to non-material perspectives. The system we live in these days simply does not deserve our respect. All we need to do is analyze it, and then we come away with more questions that it still has not answered. It is the cosmogony of Thebes that introduced to human beings the idea that the world was created and that it had a beginning. That cosmogony made sure to reveal details of the stages of that creation and of the identities of the creators of our world. I said the identities of the creators of the world. Although some readers might be shocked because the modern individual was colonized by monotheistic theologies, the world from its creation to today operates only on a polytheistic basis. Our modern problem started the day when the same groups of people assumed that they could redefine the world and its existential values with impurity, or that they could just as safely recreate civilization. The question of how the world came into being opens two or more doors. One door shedding light on a world that is created, while the other door sheds light on a world that is not created. Driven by the desire to introduce a new perspective, the recreated civilization found itself blocked by this fact. The door into a non-created world is simply absurd and far from our intellectual essence. No wonder it was only as recently as the last few decades that a new generation of totally ignorant persons, ignoring the origin of our conceptual basis, decided to flirt with the idea of a non-created universe. There is only one door left for this so-called modern civilization: dishonor and intellectual dishonesty. Perhaps intellectual grafting and spiritual grafting will give the landlords of this system a chance to stretch their talents. If so, they will, from now on, introduce more ideas that are totally absurd and try to graft them onto the psychological and intellectual roots of a human being. This system wants to make us accept the thinking that destruction of the world is the destiny of everything that has a beginning. This is one example of the techniques used to make us interiorize the logic of destruction. Every beginning leads to an end. The logic of an end, or the logic of a world that ends, was introduced to the modern system only very recently, about the year 1200 of the Julian calendar. That logic was introduced along with the concept of emptiness, meaning the zero of things or philosophical absence. According to the proponents of the new system, the concept of a philosophical absence creates room for new ideas. What a civilizational blunder. The concept of philosophical emptiness has played and continues to play its role. It opened a new door to mathematical research, the aspects of the mathematics that led to the zero sum of the world, meaning the destruction of the world. Of course, this modern discipline is nothing other than an intellectual adventure if they don't tell you that it is just an intellectual game. If so, what would you say about a person who is ignorant enough to tell you that there is a place in this universe for things that do not affect the entire universe? There are many profound reasons for our existential problems, and there are also many people who have created new jobs for themselves by trying to prevent individuals from seeing clearly the causes of their psychological problems. These people do so by simply helping them to accept the snakes that this system is forcing us to swallow. One day, while visiting the temple of the god Tumu at Kapta, Memphis, Imhotep, the first prophet of humanity, entertained a discussion with one Sekhmet priest, who asked him, "O great prophet, you never stop repeating, while with me, that the whole humanity is in constant danger. I only see a world that is strongly built and enlightened by human genius and blessed by all the gods. Tell me, O prophet, where is the danger?" Imhotep answered without hesitation, "Ambition." The priest then said, "What are you saying, O prophet? I believe that our ambition cannot obstruct the will of the gods." The prophet then asked him to keep his door open that night, for he would bring him the answer to his question. When night came, and while the priest was sleeping, the prophet asked another priest to grind garlic and rub it onto the mustache of the sleeping priest. When morning came, the prophet sent for the priest and asked him, "Tell me, what is the smell on my cloth?" The priest smelled the cloth and told him that it smelled of garlic. The prophet smiled and asked him again, "Tell me the smell of this temple." "It smells of garlic, O prophet." The prophet then followed, "These temples smell of garlic. The world smells of garlic. Even the universe for you will smell of garlic. Because last night, while you were sleeping, I asked someone to put garlic on your mustache." The whole world is under a constant threat from this kind of danger. What is the value of knowledge if at every moment of our evolution, capable forces can redirect our values to serve the ambitions of interest groups? This is the challenge that is placed on every honest being to preserve the genius of humanity. This is why the "Who am I?" question will remain unanswered until the day everything goes back to what has always been.
Interesting. And really what we see in there is our society basically easily that we could be manipulated consciously or unconsciously, and we're going around in this world, many of us, what we're seeing is the image of what society has put in front of us, and that veil has been set long before many of us even come into on this earth, on this planet here, really, where the one who killed our parents, the one who's trying to lead us in the direction away from where we should be heading, has set all these entrapment. And the garlic effect, as you can see, is like when you're manipulated and you don't even realize that you're manipulated. All you see, and we can see out there, many people, they're just gravitating towards the system is telling them. I mean, you look at the vaccination program that they have out there. So many people at one stage said that they weren't going to be taking it. Now it's like, there's a queue now, really, right, for people to take it. I was sent my letter today. Yeah. And it's one of those things, really, right, where coming in the Earth Center is kind of, it's giving me that understanding, really, like, of knowing what society is put out there for us, the entrapment, really, and how they're going to dress it up and make it look like it's something good that they're giving you, when really it's about controlling you. And that's what they've always been, the aim and the agenda has always been to control. And that's why it's so important, really, that we find ourselves in time and space so that we can, get back on our path to fulfill that destiny that we came here to serve. right? Instead of going on a route really, right, where it's leading us nowhere. And we've got a guest we're going to bring in. We're just going to play you another tune. It's someone who just passed away recently, Bonnie Whaler.
Yes, Bonnie Whaler passed away yesterday. Bonnie Whaler, if anyone doesn't know, was the third member of the Wailers. He founded the group with Bob Marley and Peter Tosh. So I'll say rise in power, Bonnie Whaler. And we'll play this tune while we connect with our next guest.
Guest, yeah, and they'll go deeper into a little bit more about who am I.
This is the cry of a people who were robbed and raped from their homeland and their loved ones. A people stripped of their culture, their dignity, their liberty, and their rights. And by the cruel and presumptuous hands of the colonial and imperialistic slavers, were cargoed into the West, where for over 400 years they have toiled and labored, and with their blood, their sweat and tears and hands, they have built the great city of Babylon, only to be paid with the wages of the taskmaster's whip, torture, and death.
Rise
Okay, greetings and welcome back to the Wisdom of the Nile show. We're going to bring in our guests. Just going to plug him into the system. Ujai Sen.
Ujai.
Ujai Hatsane.
Ujai.
You guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
Yes,
you.
we can. And can
Okay,
you hear
yeah.
us clearly?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay, excellent, excellent. So, Hatsane, could you please introduce yourself to the listeners?
Yeah, no problem. My name is Meramsu. My last name is Wasseker. I'm an initiate of the Time schools. From the 26th generation, I know we just had on the 64th generation, so I'm from the 26th generation. Graduated here in Chicago, Illinois, in the United States.
Wow. And what is your position in the Earth Center, please?
Many, but right now I'm standing as the head mayor, which is like the overseer of the Chicago headquarters.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Well, Hatsane, yes, we've had the 64th generation graduate in London, and the 65th generation graduated in San Diego, and I know that there's a few more that's coming up, including the orientation days. So, yeah, the importance of initiation, especially at a time where the world is as it is. So how do we impart to people how important this journey is the question. You know, especially people who have no knowledge of the connection between Kemet and the rest of Merita. There's still a lot of people that need the knowledge, and there's a lot of people desperately seeking a pathway out of the destruction and the degeneration that society has taken us down. So I'll hand over to you.
Yeah, like you're saying, many people feel like they don't have a connection, but because of the fact that people don't have a connection, they feel that they don't have a connection, then that is an opportunity to seek something out and to find something more, to find something greater than perhaps what modern society is offering people. Because just like in the reading from the philosophy podium that you just presented, human beings have always had questions about life. Since the beginning of human existence, human beings have had to ask, okay, what is my purpose? Why am I here? What is my goal here? So those questions are new. It's just that those questions are new, and it's a person's culture that provides those answers. But now it's just those questions are coming back. Humanity is asking those questions again because we've stepped away from that culture, and now we're living in a society that kind of puts down our ancestors' culture. And those questions are now resurfacing, and those questions are even becoming worse. People are having a dying, like a burning motivation within them to find out who they are. Because we raised in a society of fake principles. Like even you spoke about the concept of zero in the reading. We live in a society where there are principles we can't even have a good understanding of. Maybe they're confusing. Love to one, we say that we know what love is, but love to one person can be completely different than the way that the spouse understands it. And then they can't come to a resolve about what it means. and confusing, or death, or what a friend is, and on and on and on. So this is like kind of what the garlic effect, that story. In our initiations, we refer to that story with the garlic and the priest as the garlic effect sometimes. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like what that story is about, because we're in a situation where now certain people through history have had an ambition to lead humanity in a direction that's favorable for their own self-interest. And in doing that, they've had to come up with different principles and fake values that society has had to adopt. And a big part of that is this idea of kind of creating your own reality. Creating your own reality, meaning that from the time that you're little until the time that you're older, if, let's say for example, someone who's living in the city, if you're living in the city all the time, already you're living a lifestyle that's different than what the earth has essentially intended for human beings. What I mean by that is, if you're living in the concrete jungle, mm-hmm. and you're not growing your own food, you're eating food from the grocery store. Maybe even there are fruits that you're getting from the grocery store that aren't in season in the place that you're living. But because they've been shipped from halfway across the world, it's like kind of almost a reality that, human beings have tried to create within nature, when nature's already providing that reality.
Yeah.
Or the idea of, the individual or the self, and kind of maybe the idea of being, what's a good way to put it? Okay, if you grow up in the city, for sure you spend a lot of time in front of a TV. And in front of the TV, you get introduced to superheroes, you get introduced to just regular heroes on TV, and the values that they have. And then maybe those things you want to try and implement in your own life. Or those things you want to try and live out in your own life, when really they don't have anything to do with you as a human being in nature or in the existence. And so many times people can say, like, this thing that we call reality, like it's something that you can create. You can create your own reality. You can create it within yourself based on, what you want in life, what feels good to you, what's comfortable for you. But in initiation, we understand that essentially reality is something that comes from the outside. Reality is something that comes not from within, but from without. Mm-hmm. And the longer it takes a human being to understand that, we see that the possibility of your self-made reality being broken increases. This is why, a person can spend their whole life kind of in a bubble. And then once they get to high school, or once they get to college, or once they start their first job, they have some sort of incident, some sort of occurrence where they get pushed into depression, because maybe what they thought life was for all of those years when they get into the real world, it turns out that it's not what they thought. And this can lead to, depression. Some people hurt themselves. Some people kill themselves for this. But again, in living in a society of fake principles, it means that those principles that we learn in the society are not for us or from us. We come as human beings, we don't create ourselves, and the better we understand that, the better idea that we have of who I am. Like, if everyone listening to the radio right now were to go and stand in front of the mirror and look at the mirror, you look at your hair, maybe you like your new hairdo, you like the way that your beard looks, you like your nose, you say, man, I'm a handsome guy, man, I'm a pretty girl. But all those aspects of yourself that you're looking at, you don't make those. And all those aspects of yourself that you're looking at can only come from the people that came together to make you. And those people we refer to as our ancestors. Because my mother and my father had to come together to make me. Even the nose that I see, even the eyes that are there, no matter how much money I spend to go get my hair done, and how great I think that it looks, it didn't come from me. They had to come together even for me to be here. So ancestors are a big part of our lives, because while our mother and our father did that for us, their mothers and their fathers did it for them. And then their mothers and fathers did it for them. And so on, and so on, and so on. So because we can't be here, we can't live life without those people that we call our ancestors. They're a big part of the answer to the question, who am I? Because nobody came here like popped up out of nowhere. Nobody popped up out of nowhere. Like every person, every human being, every part of yourself has a history, has a place from whence it came. Like in the article that you were reading from the philosophy podium, Makoto was talking about this concept of zero that was kind of developed around the year 1200 of the Julian calendar. And that bred this idea of nothing, where you can have like a part of the existence or a part of the universe where like nothing is there, like an empty space. Like you can have on one side of the room matter, things inside of the room, and then you look on the other side of the room and there's absolutely nothing there. No floor, no ceiling, no furniture, no nothing. Like the universe is full. There is no phenomena like that. That's kind of like saying you're on the street and you're driving, and then there's a car that pulls in front of you, but that car, you saw that it came from your right side and pulled in front of you, but before that car didn't exist. Like, no, the person that's in the car, that morning they woke up, that morning they had breakfast, that morning they got in their car, and then at the same time that you got on the road, they got on the road, and they were at the same light that you were just stopped at. Like, no, they didn't come out of nowhere.
Is this our perception?
It's just a perception. But again, like the longer the human being has this perception, the more dangerous it'll become for a person.
I mean,
you can. Go ahead.
No, as you were saying, the concept of nothing existed only because they wanted to introduce themselves really into the world. Because they say, as you said, the universe is full. And when they came, you can't add something into something that's already full. So that's where they had to create that zero to restart themselves, or to assert themselves, basically. That's what that zero actually represents, really, for us in today's society, really, isn't it?
Right. And when you go through initiation, the perception that you learn to have is that when you come into the world, the world is already full, and the world already has its principles, it has its values, and we are just here as human beings to find out how we can fit into that.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm to put it in one sentence, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
The Perank initiation. Considering that you have the earth that's here before we're born, you have the stars that are here before we're born, you have the trees that are here before we're born, you have the air that's here before we're born, you have the rivers and the mountains that are here before we're born, and they're already functioning, they already have a way of expressing themselves in the existence. Then when we come here, how do we fit in? How do we fit into all of that? Because there's many things that are going on. So if a human being is going to survive, if we're going to live, if we're going to continue our lives, how do we do that?
But if they don't know, how do they make those adjustments? Because it is what you get exposed to, though, really, isn't it?
If who doesn't know?
The society, though, the people of society out there, they're on that path, like in the garlic effect, where they're only seeing what's put in front of them. And if what we've gone through initiation, we weren't exposed to it, then we will be the same as them to this day. So the initiation basically is trying to change that mentality, that mindset, really, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. And it's going to look different for each and every person. You know, some people are going to be listening to this radio show right now, and maybe whatever you said or whatever you read from the philosophy podium is going to resonate with that person. Even if they've been living an entire life with garlic on their upper lip, it can resonate with that person. Maybe someone's surfing through YouTube and then they happen to come across Master Naba and they see that video at the right time in their life, and then it happens. Some people, they know someone who's in the Earth Center, or know someone who's going through initiation, and they are aware of initiation, they know about it for 6, 7, 8 years and don't really care, and then something happens in their life and they're like, okay, I need to go. You know, it's going to look different for every person. But when you come, you know, you learn about the basics of what it means to be a human being and how to function and live within all of those things. How to live within all of those forces that are going on around us. And it even gets more specific because it's like, for one, you have what we call principles, or like different taboos, that when in our ancestors' time, they learned that when you're living in nature, there are certain things that you avoid. There are certain things that you don't do. It can be referring to, you know, different colors that you might wear, or foods that you need to avoid, or activities that you engage in at night. But then even certain families, certain bloodlines, certain families will have those too. Certain families, there are certain foods that they don't eat, or certain colors that they don't wear, and so on and so forth. But it's those things that allow you to survive here on this planet with your entity, because essentially it's those things that are going to determine one family from another, one human being, and one culture from another culture. It's the things that they don't do.
Mm-hmm.
It's the things that they're going to refrain from. So, yeah, look, did you have, I can keep going, but I just want to make sure.
I mean, you know, what you were saying there, though, really. I mean, you know, it's, you know, from the philosophy podium there, really, the garlic effect. I mean, when you really look at the psychosis, really, like what people are actually going through, it's like they need that direction, and this is what the initiation basically is about, the importance, really, of giving that person, giving us that direction so that we can realign ourselves, really. I know there's a lot of confusion out there amongst people, and they don't know which direction to turn. And this is where religion and other sort of practices like that out there actually are able to kind of misguide people, to mislead them in directions that's not actually taking them nowhere. But because they don't know, you're on that path really not knowing. I mean, I know, like my parents, they're in the church, and as far as they see it, nothing can take them off that track. But the thing about it is, oftentimes you find people like that, they're on that side of the fence, but they're not prepared to be open enough, you know, like a river. When a river stops running, it becomes stagnant, and some people, that's where they're at. They become stagnant, so there's nothing more that they can do, you know. So my experience is where I used to go to church, so I see it from that side, so I get that perspective from there. I was one of those people that was fortunate to have an open mind, that I could allow myself to look at other things. A lot of people are trapped, really, and the thing is, how do we reach people like that to kind of actually introduce or to show them that through initiation, having this authentic knowledge, really, right, that Master Nabra has brought to us, really, how much it could change their life in the direction of just how they see things, how they perceive the world, you know, because they're still going through that garlic effect where all they see is everything is good, because that's all they've been exposed to.
Yes, that's a good question, and I'm not going to say I have all the answers. I would say that in regards to how do we reach those people, we're trying. We're trying, and we're slowly growing. We're reaching them, you know, through shows like this. We're reaching them through books. We're reaching them, perhaps the biggest way, through our teaching. You know, in the initiation, you have people that go through the initiation, and then you have people that after they complete, they continue to teach others, become teachers. And in continuing to teach others, that's how we can preserve, but also spread and disseminate, you know, the knowledge.
And we ourselves grow from that as well, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Hatsune, I've got a 21-year-old daughter, and I showed her a video today of a woman reading a child's book to her toddler, and it was ABC. And for instance, G would have been, instead of girl anymore, it's now gay. I was intersex. And this is a type of book that's now being forced upon our children from a very, very early age. And my daughter said, "You see, Mommy, that's why I can't bring any children into this world." And I've got to encourage her to realize that this is just one way of living that's being forced upon us. But there are other ways of living, and we don't always have to accept what society is forcing upon us, especially upon the babies now. You know, I mean, in the UK, they're not even allowed to call children boys and girls in the schools anymore. This is how ridiculous it's got. So the question of today is, what am I in this world, you know? And to me, initiation actually concretes an individual and gives an individual a foundation upon which they can propel forward in knowing who they are and what they've come to this earth to achieve. So how do we assist the youth in particular in this discombobulated nonsense that society is forcing upon them?
Well, we say that the perception of the self comes in three parts, or in three stages of a person's life. And the first stage, or the first area of a person's life that they receive the perception of the self, is in the family, in the household. That's where a person is essentially first educated. And they receive that education from their mother, they receive that education from their father, the uncles, the aunties, the grandparents and cousins and all of that. So even, for example, those taboos I was talking about, which you're not supposed to do, what you need to avoid, that makes you you, that establishes you and your culture, that's going to come from within the household, which really puts a major responsibility on the parents. Because if we understand the danger that ourselves are in, but also the danger that our children are in, then it only means that it's going to be up to the parents to show the utmost responsibility and to show the utmost discipline in the face, in the eyes of their children. Because, you know, children are always watching. They're like sponges. They're going to soak up everything that they see. And they can be looking at you and looking at the way that you do things. They can be looking at the computer and looking at the characters that are on the computer and soaking up what the characters in the computer are teaching them, and so on and so forth. But when it comes to the children, it starts within the household. It starts within the household.
Yeah.
And so if we're concerned about our children, then we're going to have to find a way essentially to make sure that we ourselves are living our lives and expressing ourselves in a way that we want our children to live as well. And so, you know, for that reason, even we get many parents in the initiation, and many parents with that same concern.
Yes.
But, you know, with that concern, again, it's going to be that education, that initiation that a person gets to be able to learn and to understand and to exemplify the education that they want to pass down to their children.
Yeah, absolutely. That is correct. We do have forces against us, but we need to remain steadfast in what we know and what we've been taught. Not just through initiation, because I believe the majority of us grew up knowing at least what gender we are without any confusion, you know. But now the wool's being put over people's eyes and the confusion is being set in, and it's getting worse. It's getting worse. So to me, the more people that can be exposed to initiation then Makaru has set this thing up in order to advance humanity, and we just have to keep doing the works. Yes. So Hatani, I know that the 65th graduation went. I know that there are more coming up and orientation in Manu. Would you like to give people some information relating to that, please? Or do you have that information?
I have some of the information. We have, let me see, the orientation or the graduation?
Well,
did you say graduation?
Yeah, I know that there's a 66, 67. I know there's a few more graduations this month, isn't there?
Yeah, no problem. So, this, I know more so about the graduations than I do the orientations.
Okay.
But if our listeners watch the graduation, then there will likely be information on the orientation. So this upcoming Saturday, we have the next generation coming that's graduating out of Baltimore.
Oh, wow.
All of these, I believe you'll be able to see on YouTube Live. But if you go to the Earth Center's YouTube page. But Saturday is Baltimore in the United States. Sunday is Chicago in the United States. The 13th of March, which is next Saturday, we have a Newark, New Jersey school graduation. And the following Saturday, we have a Coventry graduation. And after that, at some point, I don't know if the dates are set or not, but there will be a graduation for our Ouagadougou school in the country Burkina Faso in West Africa.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
which, I was going to say, which are, major stepping stones in the life of what we would call an initiate. Because at that stage, when graduation comes, like what was mentioned earlier by the recent graduates on the show before I came on, at that point in graduating, you receive a name. And when receiving the name, it's like, or when you're graduating, people go through a lot of struggles because it's not easy to live your entire life in maybe what we would call a fake society, having fake principles and living with garlic, and then trying to pick up the monuments and the principles within Kemetic culture. It means that there's going to be a lot of things that you have to let go of. It means that there are going to be a lot of things that you have to detach from. It can about your behavior, about your lifestyle, about what you think is important, because you're changing yourself in order to fit within something, in order to graduate, which is much different than, because I don't want people to get confused, like, okay, I go through a lot of trials and tribulations and emotional disturbances, like if I'm trying to, become a Navy SEAL, or if I'm trying to get my doctorate, or if I'm trying to do this, or I'm trying to do that. Because it's true, people will go through challenges in those processes. But it's like those things that you achieve, one of the major differences is that the things that you achieve, whether it be that certificate or that status, the day that you die, it stays here. The day that you die, it stays here. And for initiates, whatever it is that you achieve, the day that you die, because it's about the growth of the spirit, that stays with you. that stays with you. And now, in the graduation, you receive a name. So, to kind of give more insight into the name, the entire time that you're going through your initiation, things like your patience will be tested, things like your tolerance will be tested. All of these different aspects of yourself are going to be really put to the test. Your discipline is going to be tested. And by the time that a person graduates, if they make it there, it means that they push their patience to a certain level. It means that they push their discipline to a certain level. They've pushed their courage and their perseverance to a certain level. And they're prepared for another stage in their life. So once they've pushed those things to a certain level, and once they have changed their perception of who they are, and their perception of what I am, like the perception of what it is to be a human being on earth, then you get the name. And your name, it's like you were saying, it comes from the earth. It's not, it's not Meramsu, or it's not one person that's just like, oh, I think, this girl, she looks like this, and so I'm going to give her this name because she looks like this. Or because when she smiles, she looks like this person, so I'm going to give her a name. No. It's like the name comes from the earth. And now that really comes to be a self-defining point in a person's life. Because each and every person that's here has a destiny. Each and every person that's here already has a purpose. Even if you're listening to the line right now, you don't know what that destiny is. You don't know what that purpose is. You have it. Whether the society has raised you in a way to steer clear of your actual destiny, or if you're lucky enough to have grown up in a indigenous culture and still hold aspects or certain things in your life that'll help you achieve your destiny. Everyone has a purpose. Even we have 6 billion people on the planet. Each and every one of those 6 billion souls has a particular purpose on this planet.
Yeah.
And that is supported, that is decided even before a person comes. Your ancestors have a part in that. Even the gods have a part in that. And so everything that a person needs in order to achieve that destiny, by the time they're born, they have it. It's embedded in the person's heart. The hands that you'll need, you have it. The feet that you'll need, the head that you'll need in order to achieve that destiny, you have it. But at that point, it's just the human being to understand what it is, because we don't remember that. Yeah. We don't remember before death, like, this is my destiny. Okay. We have to learn what that is. And so when you receive that name, what the priests are looking into is all of that. The priests are looking into that destiny that's been set for you by those ancestors, by the divine world, by the earth, and taking all of those things and then just whatever concepts that those express, putting it in a name so that we can say it verbally. But it's a destiny that's supported by your ancestors, it's supported by your master, it's supported by the things and the spirits that you don't see, it's supported by the earth. And then when you get your name, you have the name, and then you have kind of a synopsis of what it means. But now those things that are within the name and like in the synopsis, like, if the thing is, you have to go through an initiation to receive that name, because before initiation, if your patience only went so far, your tolerance only went so far. You were quick to get angry. You were quick to make bad decisions and misjudge people and things like this. if you just change your name and you receive what your destiny is supposed to be, then your behavior and your actions, it's like chances are you're not going to have what it takes to be able to truly value that and to uphold it. So initiation sets you on the path to discover who you are. You're learning about basic principles about what it means to be a human being. How do you act around other people? How to honor your ancestors, how to speak with them, how to live a life where you can start to emulate the will of the gods as close as you can, to boost your quality as a human being. That's much bigger than a certificate. It's much bigger than, a doctorate. Because all of that traverses, it'll stay with you through life. When you die, your spirit is still stamped on your spirit. And when you come back again, it's still stamped. It's still in your history. So, yes, if you're, ready, if that's something that you feel that you're ready for, that you feel that you want that in your life, that you feel that you want those changes in your life, that you feel that you want to know what your destiny is, why am I here? Why really should I be spending my time doing this, or should I be putting my focus on something else in my life because I don't feel like I'm in the right place? I feel depressed, or I feel this isn't for me. Whatever those thoughts are, and if you're looking for something, if you're looking for answers, maybe not all the answers, but if you're looking for answers to be able to put you on the right path, then I would say initiation is a good start.
And I would also say as well, Hatani, that coming to initiation isn't, you're not just walking this journey to get your name. And I personally didn't join initiation to receive my name. It was to receive the knowledge and to be able to walk with the knowledge and raise my principles according to the traditions and the spirituality of our ancestors, to be able to take back or regain back that what was stolen from us. So many people might think so they're just getting a name and go through initiation with just that in mind, but it's not just about that. It's about constantly raising your qualities with the tools that we've been given through our initiation as well. As you know, many people come and they get their name and they leave, but I think Naba Irita said once that those people, they're still forever going to be haunted by their names if they're not living up to the names that they've received. So initiation isn't an easy road.
So they've got no
to get your it's not an easy road just to get your name, is it?
No, absolutely. We say that once you know, you can't unknow. Once you know, you can't unknow. So, the name is important, absolutely, for, the many reasons that I just said, but it can't be the end goal.
Exactly.
Name is just a stepping stone in that process of understanding who you are. Because really, name, even that whole synopsis that you get, from your graduation, it's a lot.
Yeah.
But it's really like a tip of an iceberg, so to speak. It's really like a tip of an iceberg. And now, if you've been exposed to all of this, and then you swear to the earth that I understand that this is what I'm here for, and then you abandon that in front of the earth, in front of the spirits, in front of your ancestors, I mean, I would assume that they would haunt a person.
Well, you're doing yourself an injustice, aren't you? And even the person is receiving my name and the synopsis that goes with it, the past life reading that goes with it, it kind of validated or answered many unanswered questions throughout my life about myself that I didn't realize, and it all related to my past reincarnation. So it's very profound, it's very powerful, but it's a serious journey to walk. You can't take this journey lightly, is it?
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
So, as I said, I know that after the graduations that are upcoming, each temple will be having their orientation days. I'm not sure of all the dates for that, but I do know London's, which I will be giving out the information afterwards. But so people should look out for not just the graduation, but the orientation day that will give them the opportunity to embark upon the journey of initiation that Hatani Meramsu have just been speaking about. So Hatani, is there anything else you'd like to sum up before we leave, please?
Yeah, I'll just say that, if you're interested in signing up for orientation and learning more, you can visit www.theearthcenter.org /pre-registration. That's theearthcenter.org /pre-registration. And then from there, we have you in our list. And then, you'll be able to move forward with that.
Okay.
And then I would like to thank you all for having me on. I'm always glad to be on the show. Always humbled to be on the show and provide whatever I can.
Dua Hatani, Dua and Nite Dua. And I'm looking forward to Sundays. Is it Saturday and Sunday, or is it just Sunday? It's Sunday.
Saturday for Baltimore and Sunday for Chicago.
Oh wow, okay. Seshmi's going to be busy. Okay, listen. As I said, Netedua. And we'll speak to you again another time.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. Dua and Iriru.
Iriru. Yeah, and are you going to read out some information?
Yes, so I'll just give out the information to those in North America for all the orientations, graduations that's upcoming. If you go to www.theearthcenter.org/pre-registration, and center is spelled CENTER, and you will also find the information to those graduations on the Earth Center's Facebook page, and also on Instagram, which is Kebtah, KEBTAH. And for those in the UK, you will find our information relating to our orientation, which is happening on Saturday, this Saturday, the 6th of March, and it's going to be online. And you can go to the Earth Centre of UK page on Facebook and Instagram. And for more information, if you're not on social media, you can email us at enquiries-uk@theearthcenter.com. And let me rephrase the email address. It's enquiries-uk@theearthcenter.org. And our website is www.theearthcenter.org. theearthcenteruk.com. Telephone number 0208 558 3678, and for Coventry 024 76 26 6859. And the classes that the Earth Center School of Kemetic Philosophy and Spirituality offers is the Medu. Medu is humanity's oldest language, which the Greeks call hieroglyphs, which actually means holy writings. So they knew the power of our language. And you learn Medu in one of the classes, and you learn about the culture and the history. You learn to read, write, and speak humanity's original language. The other class is the Kartibi class, which is a class of meditation and movement, which the East term as a yoga. And in the Kartibi class, you learn the spirituality of our ancestors and the meditation and techniques. You learn the hekaus, which are words of power, which could be loosely termed as prayers. And those are 75,000 plus year old. It's very powerful. And then, as I said, you learn the movements. And then the third class is a Sunt class, which is the traditional healing class, where you learn how to maintain your health. You learn how the body functions from a traditional perspective, learning how to diagnose certain ailments within the body. So those are the three classes that are available. And on the orientation day, you will get to learn more about the Earth Center, the organization. You'll learn more about Master Naba, Neb Naba Lamusa Morandenibig, who is the founder of the Earth Center. And you'll hear and have the opportunity to speak to and ask many questions as you're able in the time that we have in relation to initiation. And then you'll get the opportunity to register to embark upon the initiatic journey into self with the Earth Center's schools. So I think that's it.
Yeah, because I mean, it is.
Oh, no. Sorry, there's one more thing. Friday, on the 5th of March, the London School has our online event, and the topic is reclaiming our children. So there again, you can email us, or you can go on a Facebook page to register for that event. The Facebook page, the Earth Center UK, and the email enquiries uk@theearthcenter.org. So that's Friday at 7 p.m. with a topic discussion on reclaiming our children and the importance of initiation whilst the world is in crisis.
And for those who are procrastinating about whether or not you should or you shouldn't sign up or come and investigate, you could always start the initiation, see what the information is being put out there, and then from there, then you make that next step forward. But if you miss this door opening, because it's only going to come around probably say once every year and a half, because usually initiation probably take about a year, 12 months to 16 to 18 months. So
once the doors open, you have 2 weeks. So the London school doors are opening on Saturday the 6th. So, but yes, it's good to attend the orientation without commitment. You come and hear everything that there is to offer, and then you make up your minds from there. And then you also have an opportunity to sit in on a class as well. Each class you'll have an opportunity to sit in on each class, and then you decide which path you'd like to embark upon.
Yeah, so it just makes logical sense for you, right? That to come in, and then if you don't like it, then you can step out, really, as opposed to not coming in, and then the week after you might reconsider, and then the doors close on you. So I'm sure for those really like who, as we said, who want to find out what their purpose are, because it's that profound question that who am I? And in order to find out where you're going to or where you should be going, you have to first know who you are. You got to start from base. You know, it's like reading a map. To know where you want to get to, you have to know where you're standing. And this is why it's important for you to know yourself. And so initiation would help you to understand who you are and where you need to go, because it's going to give you the tools. Those 3 classes, it gives you about the philosophy about the world, it gives you an understanding about the creation, and it gives you of how to care for yourself. And so when you look at all those 3 classes, it just gives you that balance to yourself. And that's what initiation does. It creates that balance in your life, you know. So yeah.
So we look forward to seeing you all on Saturday, the 6th of March, for London's orientation, and Coventry's is on the 20th of March. So as I said, just keep following us on the social media, and you won't miss a thing.
Did you give out the Coventry number?
And I'll give out the telephone numbers again. For Coventry, 024 7626 6859. The Earth Centre Coventry page on Facebook. The London's telephone number, 0208 558 3678. Okay, that's us wrapping up for this evening. And we'd like to say du'a for Bless Radio giving us this platform. Du'a to the guests in the studio this evening. Du'a to the Makaru, Nebnabala Musamar and Denibig. Iriru, du'a.
You can't run away from yourself. 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 Must have done. You must have done something wrong. Something wrong. Said you must have done. You must have done. Oh, something wrong. Something wrong. Why you can't find the place where you belong? Running away. Running away. Every man think that his burden is the heaviest. Every man think that his burden is the heaviest. But still me, who feels it knows it, Lord. Who feels it knows it, Lord. Who feels it knows it, Lord. Knows it, Lord. You're running and you're running and you're running away. You're running and you're running and you're running away. You're running and you're running and you're running away. You're running and you're running, but you can't run away from yourself. Could you run away from yourself?
run away from yourself. Can't run away from yourself. Can't run away from yourself. You must have done something you don't want nobody to know about. You must have, Lord, something wrong. What you must have done something wrong. Why you can't find where you belong? Well, you're running away. Hey, no. Running away. No, I'm not. Running away. No, don't say that, cause I'm running not running away. Running away. Got to protect my life. Running away. And I don't want to live with no strife. Running away. Just like to live in the house too. And to live in the house full of confusion. So I made my decision and I left you. And now you're coming to tell me that I'm running away. But it's not true. I'm not running away. You couldn't say I do.
This song goes in the memory of the beloved prophet Nebnabala Musa Mordinabig, the Dogon Prince, Maher, the truth teller, Besina Basa, which means I'll be appreciated after I'm gone. He's the man who overcome the devils with love. He's the man who speaks because he has something to say. The man of wisdom, the definition of humanity. Maheru, I'm from far away, I'm from far away, from far away, Wasseker, from far away, Prophet Naba, far away, Meramsu, far away, far away, Prophet from far away, Prophet Naba, far away, from far away. He's the man of wisdom. He's the man who lives by faith, and not by fear. His greatest wealth is the richness of his soul. He's the man who lives by faith and not by fear. He's the double-edged sword. He's the double-edged sword. He's the key to unlock their treachery. Follow truth and you shall find him. He's the definition of humanity. He's the beginning and the end. He's the prophet now. Far away, I'm from far away, far away, from far away, Wasseker, from far away, Prophet Naba, far away, Meramsu, far away, far away, Prophet from far away, Prophet Naba, far away, from far away, from far away, Prophet from far away. Bob Marley say, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy, cause none of them can stop the time. How long shall they kill our prophet while we stand aside and look? Some say it's just a part of it. We gotta fulfill the word. Come to Maheru, 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 come. He got your own told story. I'm from far away. I'm from far away.